Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Okay, you know what the little hinge is? Sleep. Yep, there it is. I'm going to put it right out there. Unglamorous, not very sexy, not fun, not the big woo. This hack will take you to the moon, Alice. Nope, not that one. This one is sleep. And I'm going to unload it. I'm going to unpack it. I'm going to give you all the details, the science behind it. And this, I'm going to tell you, if you listen up, if you take notes, if you start to understand the whys, the wherefores, and all that go along with it, it can change your life. It can change your weight loss. It can change your hormones. It can change everything. The way you feel, the way you think. Because, you know, with sleep deprivation, do you know that we act like we're drunk because we are? It pretty much is. I mean, if you get 4 hours or less of sleep, 5 hours or less of sleep for a few nights in a row, you will actually test on a driving test as if you were drunk. That's how much it affects you. That's how much it affects you. So I'm taking you down the yellow brick road, and we're going to go through this whole thing. You are going to hear this from me, and you guys are going to love it. Okay? Can we agree to that? Let's agree to that. Because I know I say, yes, 7 to 9 hours and this, that, and the other thing. And here's your hydration station. And don't forget to take your supplements and do this and do that. But now I'm about to unpack it all so you can see how important it really is. So there was a renowned neurologist, okay? His name is Kulrit Chaldre. He's a doctor. And he said this: timing your sleep is like timing an investment in the stock market, of all things. It doesn't matter how much you invest in it. It matters when you invest. When you invest. Okay? And why is he saying this? Because the first thing we have to understand about sleep is when you get your sleep is just as critical as getting the 7 to 9 hours that we always talk about. And you know when that is? You guys aren't going to like this. You're not going to like it, especially you night owls, between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. This is when the revitalization, the metabolic cleanup, the restoration, getting rid of the toxins, this is where it all happens. And when that happens, that's when you're getting ready. Are you ready? So that you can start to lose the weight. You can't lose weight until you've done all these first things first. So if you're staying up till 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, but you're saying, hey, buddy, I get up at 9 a.m. in the morning, or I'm still getting my 7 to 9 hours. Well, you're not getting all this. And guess what else happens during that 10 to 12? That is optimal time for your circadian rhythm. And yes, your body adjusts no matter where you are, how far from the equator you are, whatever. It's basically, give or take between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. wherever you are, right? It doesn't happen all at the same time. So you're on if you're over in Oregon and you're saying, oh, but Leanne, when you're getting sleep at 10 p.m., it's 7 p.m. where I am. It adjusts to where you are, okay? But it's your circadian clock. And this is when your clock is going, okay, it's time to release the melatonin. Okay, it's time to release the human growth hormone. This is the thing that keeps you young, by the way. Human growth hormone makes you feel better. It gives you energy. It does a lot of repair work. This is the stuff that kids get. And after 35, it starts to dissipate. And this is why we start to lose energy as we get older. But if the human growth hormone is present, if we optimize the ability to be able to secrete human growth hormone, we start to feel better and we start to have more energy. And melatonin goes right along with it. Melatonin isn't just for sleep. There's also repair work that goes along with it. There's also lung function, believe it or not. They found in all the COVID research, they found that was a super helpful hormone to have. So this is hormone work we're talking about, and it's a big deal, and it means something. It means a lot. Okay, so that's the whole thing of timing your sleep, because this is the restorative time. This is the time that Sean Stevenson, he wrote this book called Sleep Smarter. Really good book, by the way. It's the book that I read as I got ready for the sleep chapter. I read another one. Can't remember the name of it, but I read another one. But understanding sleep and being able to dial it in, it's just available for all of us. It's just a decision to go to bed a little bit earlier. That's it. And when we do, it doesn't have to cost you a fortune. You don't have to do anything. Just change the way you sleep. Don't dismiss this. This is huge, and it fixes a lot of things that might be a problem for you right now. So there's this phenomenon though, and you guys are going to know exactly what I'm talking about, called the second wind. And this is when we're up past, a certain point. It's like around 10:30. All of a sudden we start to feel a little bit more energized, and we're saying, hey, maybe I'm not as tired as I used to, as I was feeling just an hour ago. I know this one for fact because I felt it. And, living with somebody who is a self-proclaimed night owl has been a difficult thing to change, because, if you are sharing a room with somebody, in a bed especially, what happens when you're on different sleep cycles. They come in and it's time to brush their teeth and all of that, and they wake you up, right in the supreme part of your sleep cycle. You don't want to be disturbed from 10 to 2. This is when, this is like you're doubling down on your sleep almost. So this is this is where, all the metabolic cleanup is being done. This is when you're starting to dump those toxins. You're doing the repair and the restorative work that your body needs, so that in the hours between 4 and 6, that's when you lose weight. Did you know that? Isn't that weird? Because your body has a rhythm like everything else. We have a circadian clock. And the circadian clock says, okay, time to maximize these hormones, time to clean up this business over here, time to put this up. Okay, now that we've done all of that, let's get to work on that weight between 4 and 6 a.m. A couple of ounces, maybe a big whoosh. Maybe it's time, and now you've digested and gone through, and those fat cells have finally, collapsed upon themselves, and you've, pooped them out. And then all of a sudden you have this big whoosh. That's why I'm saying, for heaven's sakes, do not judge your weight loss from the scale. Get out the tape measure and give it some time, because sometimes there's a little work to be done, especially if you've been a night owl, especially if you've been snacking at night, especially if you don't get your hydration in. Yes, they all work together. And today we're talking about sleeping, but that second wind phenomena, that energy should be used instead for you when you're asleep. Because instead of using it for your sleep, it's helping you to scroll through Facebook or, Instagram or whatever it is that, social media of choice. It's helping you to watch more TV, and you're thinking, okay, let's make some popcorn now, right? It's helping you to not make good decisions because you're staying out too late. When you go to bed earlier, the temptations are turned off. You're in bed, you're sleeping, and your body's doing the repair work. This is huge. This is huge. So what do we need to do then? I've got some other, I'm going to drop some sleep bombs on you. Okay. These are sleep bombs that are going to make your eyeballs stick out of your head and make you start weeping uncontrollably. Not quite, but I'm going to tell you this is the other book. Dr. Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep. That was another book. And I read that one a while ago, and it was just like, boy, nobody really goes in there and says, oh, this is why sleep is so important. We all get it. We know what it feels like to be sleep deprived. All of us. If you've had a baby, you know, right? Or a puppy, or just some changes or whatever. We all know what it feels like to be sleep deprived. We all know what it feels like to have a good night's sleep. Well, think about that and put that into the equation of what it is to optimize your circadian clock and what it is to optimize your gut health, your brain health, and all the rest of it. So I'm going to throw down some stuff, okay? There are people who have a gene, by the way, they have a gene that allows them to exist unscathed on just 5 hours sleep. Do you want to know how many people, what the population is on that? 1% of the entire population of the world. So maybe you are one of those 1%, but you have a better chance of winning the lottery. Okay? So just because you think you can doesn't necessarily mean that you can. And according to statistics, it's highly unlikely. Okay, there you go. There you go. You're more likely to be struck by lightning than you are to have that particular set of genes. The rest of us, this is what we need to function and to have our bodies functioning optimally. Okay? Get this. Respiratory function declines. We have the ability to exhale carbon dioxide and the ability to inhale oxygen declines. This is why COVID patients were oftentimes told to take melatonin. It helps. I'm not, I need my sleep. Melissa, you do. Yes. And if you eat late, Debbie, then you know what you've done? You've determined that digestion is the most important thing. Your body is not going to be doing the restorative work that I just went through. Your body has to do digestion first. Hierarchy of need. Yes, it's bad for you. Yes, and it's robbing you of your health. It's robbing. Just wait till you hear what I have to say here. It's robbing you of your health. When you don't get enough sleep, you get physically exhausted faster and your muscle strength declines and the lactic acid builds up. That's why you have aching muscles. You're more prone to injury when you're sleep deprived. And one study shows an increased probability of 60% more likely to get injured on the job or whatever than those who had 5 hours, for those who only had 5 hours versus those who had 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Wow. 60% more chance of getting injured. How about that? And the shorter your sleep cycle, the shorter your life cycle. There's a direct correlation to that. Short sleep predicts all-cause mortality. In other words, those who get 5 hours of sleep or less have 30% higher blood pressure, have higher tobacco use, higher blood glucose, less physical activity, more obesity and overweight, and blah, 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 because they're not sleeping. Obviously, this just all correlates is what the thing is. So sleep is also done on your brain. Did you know that? And there's all those, the amyloids that get into your brain. Well, this is when the cleanup is done. It literally sweeps it out between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And that is you sweep that out, you're getting rid of Alzheimer's. So is there a correlation? There's sleep studies being done right now. Is there a correlation between Alzheimer's and dementia or dementia, however you want to do this, and sleep night owls? They're doing studies on this right now because that repair work's not being done and it stays in there. So that's really interesting. Cancer, your rates of cancer go up, especially breast cancer and bowel cancer, two great big cancers for women. Your ghrelin and leptin stay broken. Now, you know what ghrelin is. Ghrelin is the one that says we need, yeah, that's right, June. She says if we get proper sleep, we can see those little hinges instead of tripping over them. Absolutely. That's 100% true. It is true. And I put it down to you, and I'm dropping these little truth bombs because I want to challenge you to go to bed earlier. And now if you go to bed at midnight or whatever, and you're just saying, oh, but I'm single, I live alone, going to bed at 10, that's like going to bed, when the sun goes down or whatever. Don't do it tonight, but maybe if you go to bed at midnight, maybe you go to bed at 11:30 tonight. Maybe the next night you go to bed at 11 and you just keep moving it back and start going to bed earlier. Listen, this dog changed me because I'm in bed between 9:30 and 10 every single night. And a couple of nights we were watching something on TV. Let me just tell you, 2 nights in a row, we stayed up a little bit later, 10:30. And then I got to bed and I couldn't quite go to sleep just as quickly as I usually do. Why do you think that was? It was all this. It was all this. And I felt like crap for 3 days in a row. And then last night I told Mark, that's it. We're not doing that anymore. We've got to. You go to bed before the sun. Wow, that's pretty intense. So your ghrelin and leptin is the switch that turns off your appetite. and says, hey, you know what? You've had enough. It works with your stretch receptors in your stomach. You've had enough. You're good. You don't need to eat anymore. Have you noticed that when you're tired, you just seem to like want more food, or you want a snack, you want to eat more? I have. And it's all of this because your blood, your body chemistry's off because we didn't have repair work done for a while. It stinks. After 20 hours of being awake, you're physically and cognitively impaired as if you're drunk. Come on. That's insane. That's insane. Because we're not getting adequate sleep. Because no one wants to talk about it. Everybody wants to say, oh, well, if I got my 7 hours, it's not just 7 hours. It's going to bed early, 10 p.m. It's getting up, after and waking up refreshed. That's what it is. So here's the thing. I've got for you 8 things that are going to help you. 8 things that are going to help you with this. First of all, preamble, dial back your sleep. You know how to do this, right? You got this? The way that you do it is wherever you are right now, you dial it back and go to bed a half hour earlier. 1-2 nights in a row, whatever, but just make it an intentional practice. You got to get your sleep. You got to feel better. This is what we need to do. And then we're going to go into how this whole thing gets done, because if you want to set a good bedtime and be in bed by 10 p.m. and falling asleep right away, I've got you. I've got everything that you're going to need. Number 1, and I think this is a big deal, is get your sunshine daily. When we get sunshine, that activates our cortisol. Now, we think of cortisol as being unhealthy. It's not. We need cortisol. It's what gets us up in the morning. It's when cortisol is upside down. It's when our cortisol is going off at 3 o'clock in the morning and we're sitting there going, hold on, I'm supposed to be asleep. You want your cortisol to wake you up in the morning. You want to wake up, not groggy. You want to have a little bounce in your step. You want to just be able to bounce right out and go to, get out of bed and enjoy yourself. You do. That's what we want to do. And we want to wake up refreshed, not groggy, not like if we've been hit with a 2x4, not like it's like slogging through the day and feeling like we're wearing cement shoes. We don't want that. Like give me coffee, all the coffee, that like that. Don't need to. So what we need to do though, is we need to activate the good, healthy cortisol in us. So we get that when we get first awake, and when we go outside, it activates it even more. And then we have a nice, sunshiny, springy first thing in the morning day. So what I do is I take Lincoln down to where the boat launch is on the dock, and we go play in the water. It's good for him. I'm throwing the balls to him. He's out there swimming. It's so cute. And coming back and forth. And then we run up and down on the berm. We do all kinds of stuff. And I'm out there getting some, you can see I've got some tan. I'm outside getting some sun and he's getting his exercise. It's all good. And this is something that we need to do. It also activates your vitamin D. If you're taking vitamin D and your calcium, magnesium, they all go together. I mean, this is a healthy thing that we're doing for ourselves. So get that sunshine daily, 10 to 15 minutes. It's not a big deal. 2, your gut health is going to give you better sleep. Your gut health. Now, they sometimes call your gut your second brain. And as a matter of fact, I did a webinar years ago on this whole thing. It is fascinating how much, when we say we have that gut feeling or whatever, well, that gut feeling is actually a thought that your gut is helping to produce. It helps you to connect with your brain, your heart, your beautiful self, all of that. I mean, there is a reason why we have feelings like this. It's interesting how that whole thing works. But gut health is everything. And 95% of serotonin, which is, serotonin is one of our good feel-good hormones. Guess where it's produced? 95% of it is produced in the gut. Way more. It's like, how many times more? 400 times more than what your pineal gland is producing for you, which, that is the production place, but it's coming out of your gut. And if you have a leaky gut, guess what? You've got leaky serotonin too. You've got leaky serotonin too. And that is not going to serve you at all. Don't we all want to feel good? We want to feel good. This is how we get it. This is one of the ways that we get it. We have to be working on our leaky guts on a daily basis. And it's not hard. You know, if you're doing the hot milk 30 or you're doing the hot milk sprint right now, which by the way, we're on day 3 of the sprint, you're doing the Target Trifecta smoothie. You're already getting the L-glutamine in. You're already getting the perfect paleo protein in and the fiber mender. These are all things that help heal your gut. We have to be those women. You have to get on the bone broth every single day. Bone broth, beauty support helps you build your collagen. Collagen helps heal your gut. All of these things. Have you seen how this all cycles together? It's really intense. But here's the thing. A leaky gut, a repaired gut, is a gut that's going to be optimized. Your immune system, 85% of your immune system's in your gut as well. Think about it. It's all connected, all connected. Yes, and stress, when we have stress, and Beverly's saying she has enough stress in her life to float a boat. But listen, Beverly, when you have a lot of stress in your life, know that that's affecting your gut health as well. And this is why we're in a battle. We're in a battle every single day over our gut. Because if you've ever seen the membrane in a sausage, that is basically, you know, that is intestinal membrane from a pig. It is. That's how they use them. And it is the most accurate depiction of what ours looks like and how easy it is for it to rip and tear. And there's little tiny junctures that are supposed to be closed like this, but they start to spread and they start to open over food, over stress, over inadequate amounts of sleep. We can close them back up, and we just every day, we're in the weeds every single day. Every single day. Every single day. L-glutamine, every single day. Perfect paleo protein, fiber mender, every day. Proactive probiotic, every day. All of these things. And the fiber mender is going to feed the good army that's in here, the proactive probiotic. You got prebiotic and probiotic. Those are the soldiers. And then the prebiotics, the food. That's exactly how it works. And that's what you need. We all do. We all do. And if we stay on top of this, start getting the sleep and start dealing with our stress, you know, journaling, breath work, meditation, talking to someone if we need to, and just start dealing with all this stuff and doing all these things nutritionally and getting the sleep. Can you imagine? How much better are you going to feel? Then there's the Epsom salt bath. Oh my gosh, you know, Epsom salts are cheap. A bathtub that's probably sitting there getting dusty anyway. Can you just fill it up? 4 cups of Epsom salt. 4 cups. Get in there for 20 minutes. Put a little lavender oil in there and let it do its work. Because it will bring you down, it will calm you, and the magnesium, you get 20% absorption of magnesium into your skin. Boy, doesn't that make you, you know, you feel good. And listen, if you are one of these people who have twitchy legs or you're kind of muscly or whatever, most of us don't get enough magnesium, 85% of the population. Make sure you're taking our Core 4 that has CalMag in it, and do the Epsom salt bath. And the other thing is, you can find on Amazon this Ease, E-A-S-E, a magnesium lotion. Put that all over your legs. And it feels kind of prickly and weird, but and just wash your hands afterwards. But I promise you, it'll make a big, big difference on your legs. Huge difference. Number 4 is a dark room. You know, if you have ambient light coming in, do you know that turns on you don't shut down. You know, you're turning back on. You're going, oh, okay, there it is. You know, when we lived in Boulder, we had ambient light because we had this one little transom window that we couldn't do a thing about. I kept saying, I'm going to get a can of spray paint and paint it black. But it came in. And I will say for 2 years, I did not sleep really soundly because of all that light coming in there. I am light sensitive, but we all are. Just pay attention. You know, that's what it is. And even the lights that are on your smoke alarms or carbon monoxide detectors, you can get little black dots right off of Amazon and just stick it right on that light. You don't need the light on. It doesn't need to be on and shining in your, saying, hey, here I am. You know, if it goes bad or you've got it written down on your calendar, like, you know, at daylight savings time, you change out your batteries or whatever, you're good. You don't need that light. And that light has a blue glow to it. And that blue light is what keeps you up, and it stimulates. We don't need to be stimulated. We need to go to sleep. So keep it dark in there if you need to, Buy blackout shades, like the kind they have in Las Vegas. You need it dark. Number 5, you also need it cool, 65 degrees or less. In the wintertime, we live in the mountains. We turn ours off, and we have a weighted blanket on the bed and everything. And it's fine. It works. It always works is the thing. It will always work. You need to be sleeping in cool temperatures. Then your body understands, oh, it's time to cool down and go to sleep. Kind of like bears, it's your hibernation time. And then a good bed. And I have to tell you, if you've ever had a bed, I've had one of those. I've had one memory foam bed after the other. And I will tell you, they've all just been a huge disappointment. Hot, and they make little canoes, I don't need a canoe for a sleeping arrangement. I don't need to be going into my little scooped canoe. That's not going to work. I got a bed. It's called, at the time it was IntelliBed, but now it's Organics Bed. ORGANIX bed.com. They've got a deal for us. If you go to organicsbed.com/saving dinner, you can find out all about it. But basically, it's got memory foam in it. It's got gel matrix on the top that they use. This is the same stuff that they use for burn patients, so you stay cool. And just it has like a weird combo between firm and soft. It is the most comfortable bed I've ever slept in my life. And when we go anywhere, we are always so happy to get home to our bed because it is that amazing. So if you're in the market for a new bed, please go take a look at it. And plus they give us a great big screaming deal. Sheets, set up, haul away your old bed, the whole 9 yards. And it is the most amazing thing on the planet. Jen, the bed is called Organics Bed, Organics with an X. Organicsbed.com/saving dinner, and they'll give you $900 off. Okay. That's a big deal. That is a huge deal. And the bed is worth every single dime. This bed was cheaper than the big expensive memory foam bed that I got, which was just I had to get rid of it. It was so hot. And for any of you who know what I'm talking about as far as sleeping hot, this bed is not like that at all. It's a big deal. So, and the last thing that I have for you is 0 screens. If you've got a TV in your room, don't turn it on, or even better, take it out. Why do we have TVs in our room? Our bedrooms are meant for 2 things. Can you guess what they are? Sleep and sex, and we're done. That's it. That's all you should be doing in your bedroom. That's it. Offices, no. If there's no other place, then put a bed sheet over it or something. When you go to sleep, you need to have a sanctuary, and it needs to be cool. It needs to be dark. You need to be prepared for bed, and it needs to be early. And thus ends my TED Talk. Thank you for attending my TED Talk, by the way. Sleep is everything. It is everything. And this is so foundational, and it's so simple to do. When I started on all of this and started upgrading my sleep and going to bed earlier, upgrading my bed, upgrading my bedding, upgrading my supplements at night, upgrading all these different things, the difference was night and day. Literally, night and day. So I just want you to keep all of this in mind as you start thinking, I don't have time. This is the only time that I have for myself. This is your health we're talking about. This is your future weight loss that's at stake. This is everything. Foundationally, you need a good night's sleep, and it starts at 10 p.m. every single night. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you live. I don't care. Because I do care about you, and I want you to have the best ever, most vibrant life possible, and sleep is foundational. Pinkies up on that one? Do I get some amens? I sure hope so. But there you go. So yes, 4 cups of Epsom salts. Some people even, by the way, some people even add in like another cup of baking soda because it helps to do something to the Epsom salts. I haven't really looked up at that, but Sarah says, speaking as a former night owl, getting enough sleep improves my waking hours. And let me just tell you, I'm a former night owl too. We're bad We're like ex-smokers. You know, we're happy to tell you why. But that 10 p.m. bedtime is all the things. All the things. You are going to feel like $1,000,000. Everything responds. You will respond. Float fresh lavender in your bath. Are you kidding me? June, send me some. I want to float fresh lavender in my bath too. That sounds awesome. Yes. Yes. Cloud 9. Anyway, thank you again for joining me. I really appreciate it. Peace be with you. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.